Well, humanity has already endured two catastrophic world wars, yet in 2025, conflict remains a dominant aspect of geopolitics. Across Eastern Europe, West Asia, and much of Africa, violence has persisted, intensified, or newly erupted. Now, this year witnessed sustained fighting in Ukraine, brutal internal wars in Sudan and Myanmar, and a serious military confrontation between India and Pakistan following a terror attack. West Asia and West Africa turned into the most turbulence-stricken regions. As the year concludes, international relations appear more strained than ever, frayed by violence, diplomatic friction, and shifting global power equations.
The shape of world politics is being redrawn through warfare, even as world leaders continue to pledge peace. Yet, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, now in its fourth year, remains unresolved. Russia still controls roughly 20% of Ukraine and even expanded its grip in 2024. Renewed US-Russia talks, including a Trump-Putin summit in Alaska, raised hopes for a breakthrough, but none came. Later, visits by US envoys also failed, with Moscow rejecting revised peace proposals while insisting it will not return territories seized by force. Hopes are now pinned on the outcome of the latest round of talks in Miami. Aid remains Ukraine's lifeline. Trump repeatedly criticized Europe for contributing less than the US and urged NATO allies to buy American weapons for Kyiv. European leaders, meanwhile, explored tapping frozen Russian assets to fund Ukraine's defense. Tensions spiked sharply between the US and Venezuela. President Trump vowed to dismantle drug cartels and tighten control over Venezuelan oil exports. The US blocked sanctioned tankers and sent troops and warships to the region. Caracas is trying to push back with defiant rhetoric, while China and Russia warned the standoff could escalate dangerously. The Israel-Hamas conflict remained volatile, with heavy fighting and severe humanitarian suffering. In October, Trump announced a renewed ceasefire under a plan to disarm Hamas and rebuild Gaza. Previous ceasefires had collapsed over hostage disputes. By year's end, the fighting had largely paused, but Gaza's future remained uncertain. Tensions between Israel and Iran flared into open conflict. Israel struck Iranian military and nuclear sites, and Iran retaliated with missiles and drones. The US sent additional forces to the region, raising fears of a wider conflict. Washington avoided direct strikes on Iran's leadership, but regional tensions reached their highest point in years. A year after Assad's fall, Syria remained fragile under interim leader Ahmad al-Shara. Sectarian violence displaced tens of thousands, while US strikes targeted Islamic State cells, underscoring the ongoing security vacuum. Power shifted in Yemen. Israeli strikes killed senior Houthi leaders, while the Southern Transitional Council expanded control across much of the south. Analysts warn that the country's fragmentation could prolong the conflict and worsen the already dire humanitarian crisis. In the Caucasus, there was rare progress. In August, Armenia and Azerbaijan met at the White House and announced a peace deal covering border demarcation and economic cooperation, a major breakthrough after nearly 4 decades of conflict. South Asia witnessed its own flashpoint after a deadly terror attack in Pahalgam, India launched Operation Sindoor, targeting terror infrastructure across the line of control. Diplomatic ties with Pakistan were downgraded, treaties suspended, and travel halted. A cessation of hostilities was achieved through direct military communication, averting a wider conflict. Meanwhile, Pakistan's relations with Afghanistan deteriorated sharply. Pakistani airstrikes against militants inside Afghanistan triggered Taliban retaliation along the border. Civilian casualties rose, ceasefires collapsed, and mediation efforts failed, leaving tensions dangerously high. Bangladesh is facing its most severe crisis in more than 10 years. The anticipated February polls are expected to ease tensions for political parties and the general public alike, following months of uncertainty that have strained governance and the economy and fueled concerns about the nation's future. Myanmar's civil conflict intensified this year, but upcoming elections in Myanmar are being viewed as a possible positive shift for the nation, as the military-led government claims they will mark a fresh start for the country. Many believe the elections could restore hope and renewed spirit among citizens who have endured prolonged conflict and hardship. By year's end, the Sahel buckled under mounting violence. In Mali, jihadists cut key fuel routes, rattling the economy and spreading instability south and west. Attacks spilled into Benin, Togo, and Nigeria, while coups and attempted takeovers tested regional leadership. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, M23 rebel advances displaced millions more, even as peace efforts struggled to gain traction. In the Caribbean, Haiti's security situation deteriorated further. Gangs expanded control over the capital, attacking hospitals, schools, and police stations, pushing the already fragile state closer to total collapse. As 2025 draws to a close, the world stands at a moment of possibility. While some conflicts moved closer to fragile truces and others continued to test international resolve, renewed diplomatic efforts have shown that dialogue remains alive. Trust is slowly being rebuilt, and despite challenges, the pursuit of peace continues. The year ahead offers an opportunity for 2026 to bring progress, cooperation, and stronger foundations for global stability. Aarti Rana's report for DD India.